Electromagnetic waves are also heat, for example. When we say that the sun warms us up, it's a particular form of electromagnetic waves that we don't see, but that our skin sees, and sees it as warmth. We are in a soup of electromagnetic radiation. Almost anywhere you are, you can pick up your cell phone and receive a phone call. You can turn your TV and some signal will come through.
These electromagnetic waves can be harnessed and used in a variety of ways. In Alaska, there is a facility that does just that. HAARP is a directed energy experiment being undertaken by the US. From HAARP's wide field of antennae, the waves are focused and beamed into the ionosphere high above the Earth's surface. The ionosphere is part of our atmosphere. It contains electrically charged particles and acts like a mirror, reflecting radio waves back to Earth. Sending radio waves into the ionosphere can accelerate its particles, heating specific areas. The particles then reflect the energy back to Earth.
If we were looking at what an electromagnetic pulse might look like, if you could see it, it would be sort of like when you see in the cartoons when there's a pulsating cone of energy that comes out of something, that comes down from the line of sight. That would kind of be like what an electromagnetic pulse would visualize like, if you could visualize it.
The government may know more than the rest of us about the potential health effects of these sorts of systems. We do know that the Air Force has a human systems laboratory where they have been researching what these devices could potentially do to humans. That research has not yet been made public.
These weapons work with directed energy, much like harnessing the power of an overcharged lightning bolt. When the blast occurred at the Beckford home, it was difficult to assess if the mysterious phenomenon had human consequences. Neighbors said Susie Beckford was never the same again. It may be a coincidence, but 4 months after the event, she died. Her death certificate cited heart failure as the cause of death. As the 21st century unfolds, the same technology that gave us the benefit of cell phones, microwaves, and remote control is now being applied to a completely new array of powerful weapons. A development veiled in a cyclical current in a lightning bolt. One can blast enemy missiles out of the sky. Another can be used to blind soldiers on a battlefield. Still another to control an unruly crowd by burning the surface of their skin. If detonated over a large city, an electromagnetic weapon could destroy all electronics in seconds. Though their effects may be different, they have one remarkable feature in common. They all use directed energy to create a powerful electromagnetic pulse.
We have been testing what I'm going to call microwave weapons for crowd control. You can affect a large area by sweeping the beam and making sure that people are in the beam long enough to get a very nasty sensation of being cooked, which, to a very fine depth, they are.
If you haven't heard about these weapons, it's no surprise. Their development has been secretive, and they sound more like science fiction than reality.
Well, the New York Times wanted to do a story on the new frontiers of military technology, and we've done a lot of work previously on what have been called smart bombs and satellite-guided munitions. We really wanted to find really what the next frontier was, and I did some reporting, talking to some military analysts that I know, and also some people actually in the investment community who follow companies that make their money off government contracts, and they mentioned to me this whole new category of weapons known as directed energy or electromagnetic weapons. And that's really how we found out about it. And then we started doing some reporting, and one of the hard things about it was that the government really didn't want to come forward with a lot of information. Most of these programs still remain secret or classified.
So the application on this machine is that it was for making electronic warfare aggressive equipment and also defensive equipment. Now, what we're looking at here and the development that's taken place, and I've seen this before, is that yesterday some government entity was taking a satellite and sending down brain interfering signals In other words, the whole hotel area, both this area and the other side, was saturated. And what this machine did is it captured that attack wave. I turned the machine on about 8:30 in the morning, and it was there. Now, for the past 5 days, I've been in Sunnyvale doing an assignment over there, and this wave was not present the whole 5 days that I did analysis of the electromagnetic spectrum over there. And so this kind of wave would have the effect to make people nauseated, headaches.
Lasers, masers and microwaves will use directed energy to blow missiles from the sky, neutralize the enemy without bloodshed, and attack communication systems, throwing command and control centers into chaos. Unlike conventional bombs, the E-bomb will turn over and go point down on the target. A massive current pulse runs down the bomb, driving the energy forward and dumping it into the microwave antennae. The bomb destroys itself, disintegrating high in the air just as the microwave beam blasts out onto the target area. This target area is called the lethal footprint. While the Americans were developing this technology, the Russians were conducting similar experiments. Some speculated that the Belle Island blast was the result of Soviet testing of directed energy weapons. The theory was that Belle Island had acted like a giant magnet. The place contains vast underground iron ore deposits and abandoned mines laced with miles of copper piping. The belief is that an electromagnetic signal passed over the island in 1978 and was drawn down by its magnetic field. An electromagnetic signal to Cuba, but the signal was pulled down because the island's iron ore deposits and miles of underground copper piping acted like a magnet. Others insist that the beam was caused by a massive solar flare, and there is also the theory of ball lightning. We may never know what really happened on Belle Island, whether the beam was a weapon or a natural phenomenon, but we do know that weapons which will copy the Belle Island blast are the future of warfare.
What if the colossal blast had landed not on tranquil Belle Island, but on bustling Toronto or New York? What damage would it have done in a densely populated electronic jungle?